Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 57 of the Ask Dr. Zaino show. And although we usually get started a minute or two late, it seems like lately, we are starting a minute early tonight. So it is, well, there we go. It just rolled over. It's 8 p.m. Central Time. And I want to thank everybody for being on. And if you're just getting on, or if you're watching the replay, let me thank you for that too. And we're going to get started answering some questions and then also going over some training. Some of you know that Dr. Zaino is not here with me tonight. He's actually in somewhere in Utah, I think. He's doing a keynote, which is a pretty big deal. It's his first keynote for his new program, or on the topic of his new program, I Am Hero. And I'm not sure the organization or the specifics of where he's speaking. I think it's kind of a TED Talk, if I'm not mistaken. And so he's been training for that. And so he's actually doing that in about, I don't know, he's probably about to talk in about 15, 20 minutes. Excuse me, frog in my throat. And I think he's going live on Facebook whenever he does that. There we go. And so if you want to go to his Facebook page, just type in Dr. Zaino up at the top of Facebook, search for it, and you'll see his Facebook page there, and he should be going live. I think he said at 8:21, something like that, Central Time is when he'll be live. I could be wrong. That might be Mountain Time. I'm not sure. But let's see. If you guys have any questions, place them in the chat roll. And I did bring some things to train on tonight. I am going to be launching my spinal hygiene program again next week. We start on Monday. The emails won't be going out to Chiro Thought Leaders. So if you're not on my personal list, then you won't be getting the spinal hygiene training emails. So if you do want to get on that list, just go to spinalhygienedoctor.com and enter your name and email there, and I'll make sure that you get the training emails that start on technically Saturday of this week. We'll send out the first email, so spinalhygienedoctor.com, and you can get on that list. Now, announcements here. If you're watching live at chirothoughtleaders.com/ask-dr-zaino, then you'll see right underneath the video, there's a big red button that says register now for early bird pricing. Let me explain to you what that button is. If you click on it, it will take you to healthexpertsalliance.com. And this Health Experts Alliance is an event that Dr. Dr. Isaac Jones and his colleague and partner, Dr. Josh Axe, they will be putting on this event. Jordan Rubin will be there as well. I went to this event last year in Atlanta, is where they had it. This year it's in Clearwater, Florida. This is really a great event, and I hesitated going because it does talk a lot about becoming an online health expert, those types of things. But you have to realize that today's day and age, we're moving into the time period where we need to understand these concepts. Even if you don't want to sell things online, you need to understand how to master online and get online. I was at a mastermind in Puerto Rico last weekend, with a lot of great online marketers and experts. And one of the things I got that was absolutely amazing was a couple of chiropractors from Australia had been doing what they call, what's the word for it? It's basically an online seminar. The word will come back to me. Anyway, they do a 2-day online seminar where they would get expert speakers who come in and they would interview them, and then they would say, they would promote it. They'd say, we're going to be live on these 2 days. They would actually record the interviews beforehand with the experts, and then they would make their own videos. But for those 2 days, like let's say it was a Saturday and a Sunday, or a Friday and a Saturday, they would play those videos all day long live on whatever page it was. And so with these online seminars or online webinars, they would attract so many people. Now they do them for the chiropractic profession, so they would have topics about subluxation or neurology or those types of things, and they would do an online seminar for chiropractors. But they could also do it and they also do it in their practices for their patients. So imagine if you were doing an online summit, that's what they called it, an online summit, where let's say we were going to do an online summit on the topic of spinal hygiene, and which I do plan on doing. And it's like the spinal health and hygiene summit. And you can just attract all these people from across the world, but also in your local area, because you can really push and really market and have experts, but have yourself. You could do it all yourself, even with some kind of online summit, like whatever. Let's say you're great at treating headaches, you do a headache summit, or you do a neuropathy summit, or whatever it is, and you can attract your local people and then build your practice that way. Anyway, that was just one example. I'm just saying that I learned a lot at that seminar last year that I went to with Dr. Isaac Jones about online marketing, about how to build a following online. And if you're not building an email list, you're missing out, because I know email is kind of old school now. We have Facebook messaging, we have all these things, but it's still huge. You've got to build that patient-based email list. It's like having files with all your addresses. Used to, chiropractors would go back and do a reactivation campaign, and then they would mail out postcards to all the people that they haven't been to. Today, it's emails, and it's cheaper and it's easier, because all you have to do is write an email and click a button, and you got an instant reactivation campaign. So we need to be collecting emails, and we need to be trying to build that email list all the time. And that seminar, the Health Experts Alliance seminar with Dr. Isaac Jones, Dr. Josh Axe, Jordan Rubin, there's a lot of other guys that are speaking there as well that are great. And that's going to be June 9th through the 11th. Just happens to be my brother's birthday, June 10th. So that does not matter at all right now, though. Anyway, June 9th through the 11th is going to be a great event in Clearwater, Florida. If you would like to go, you can get your tickets from that link below this video. And then we'll go ahead and scroll on down through. If you go down, you'll see those social media buttons. Please click those, like them, and share the feed. If you have any questions for me personally, just place the question in the blank there, and I'll make sure that I can answer it the best I possibly can. So one of the things I'm going to bring tonight for training, just because, Dr. Zaino, he gets a lot of questions. He runs one of the largest practices in the world. And even though I run two offices, they're, together still less than what his is. So he gets most of the questions there. But one of the things that we do for our patients, we do for chiropractic offices around the world, we do for Dr. Zaino, is we share this message of spinal hygiene. And really what it is, it's lifetime spinal wellness, but it's in a package that people already understand. And I think today, in today's day and age, we need this message of spinal hygiene more than we've ever needed it before. So I truly believe that nature, that God, that the universe adapts our society and our culture into what we need. Like, let's say, for instance, chiropractic came about in 1985 or 1885, right? And so over 120 years ago, all of a sudden chiropractic sprung up. Now we may have known that there was some prehistoric chiropractic from Egyptian hieroglyphics or whatever we think they're doing, but chiropractic as we know it today sprung up about 120 plus years ago. And I believe it's for a reason. I believe the universe said, you know what? Culture is getting more sedentary. It was the industrial age, the end of the industrial age, and moving into maybe we were still in the industrial age at that point, but they were having a lot more stress in their life, a lot more stress on their spine. They were becoming more sedentary, and I think through the middle of the 1900s and towards the 2000s, we really became more sedentary, and we just need chiropractic in our society, and I believe it should grow, it should flourish. We can see that this exact same thing happened in the early 1900s in dentistry. If you read about dentistry in the early 1900s, people's teeth were just rotting. There was tooth decay everywhere. And if you were a dentist, what you did most of the time is you just pulled teeth. So if you had a bad toothache, you would go to the dentist and they pulled your teeth. And dentists were so busy that that's all they did was just pull teeth. Well, in 1906, there was a doctor by the name of Dr. Alfred Phones. And he's now currently, we refer to him as the father of dental hygiene because he was looking around. He said that dentists, all we're doing is pulling teeth, that teeth are rotting, they're decaying. We've got to do something. This is, I could just imagine him in his mind saying, this is epidemic. This is at epidemic levels. We have to stop this tooth decay. So he made it a goal of his, a passion of his to share dental hygiene with the world. And he started dental hygienists associations, and he did teeth cleaning in his office, and he promoted toothbrushes and flossing and all these types of things. And now dentistry, because it began to have these campaigns where dentists would get in our schools and they would teach our kids, or they would get out in our community and they would go to events, or they would go to places of business and they would share this concept of dental hygiene. Then they began to grow the dental profession, and now it's the second largest healthcare profession in the world. But you see, the problem with chiropractic is we never grabbed on to that portion of hygiene. This most simplest message we could possibly send is that you should take care of your spine, right? That's the simplest message. That's why dentists went with you should take care of your teeth, because it's simple. And yet in chiropractic, I'm a subluxation based chiropractor. I understand that subluxation interferes with innate intelligence and that it affects the function and it causes dis-ease in the body. But that message is hard for a lot of people to understand. But the message that's just you should take care of your spine or it's going to rot, I mean, that's a pretty simple message that we've never shared. We've never grasped or taken a stance on. And today's day and age, we need it more than ever. And you're starting to see it now. You're starting to see it creep out that there are certain, not all in chiropractic. I read an article in Forbes magazine the other day that said, it talked about taking care of your spine and talked about sitting right and getting up every hour to walk around and doing yoga. I mean, that's what it said. That's how you take care of your spine. So this is going to happen whether we as chiropractors grasp this movement or not. And by the way, if you have any questions, just pop them in the. I'm still watching that chat roll down at the bottom. Feel free to ask questions. So what I'm just saying is that that spinal degeneration is at epidemic levels right now. In fact, I will quote you, and I have resources for these numbers, but 96% of 80-year-olds have spinal degeneration. 96%. It's almost 100% of people now have spinal degeneration. It was 80% of 60-year-olds have spinal degeneration. And we used to think that spinal degeneration just happens with old age, right? So everybody that walks in your office and your door, they say, oh, arthritis is just, it just happens. I'm just getting old, right? And you don't know what to say back to them. So we just accept that. We just say, oh, well, yeah, it's better than the alternative. That's the one. It's the one-liner that I would come back with. So, but watch, it's not about getting old anymore. It's not, arthritis is not caused by old age. You and I, we all know this, but now studies have shown 37% of 20-year-olds have spinal degeneration. 37% of 20-year-olds. 20 is not old, right? So you can tell that person that says arthritis comes with old age, you can say, well, 37% of 20-year-olds have arthritis today, and 20 is not old. But even bigger than that, there was a study, it was actually in 2004, that took a population of pediatric, they were all asymptomatic, but they did MRIs on their lumbar spine. 9% of 10-year-olds in that study, 9% of 10-year-olds have spinal degeneration because of our sedentary lifestyles, overweight, on the phones, video games, and we're just not moving. We're not getting the exercise that we used to, which I think that's why chiropractic kind of sprung up in the first place in the early 1900s. Was we weren't moving as much. We were getting sedentary. We were starting to degenerate. So then the universe says, well, here's chiropractic. Boom. So it was an answer, right? But now it's gotten even more intense. And I think as chiropractors, we're still the answer, but we've got to help people prevent this. And look at dentistry, okay? They worked very hard promoting dental hygiene, like brushing your teeth and flossing, right? How many dentists do you know make money off of selling toothbrushes? No, crickets. Because most dentists, unless you work for Crest or something, most dentists do not make money selling toothbrushes. So why do they work so hard sharing the message of dental hygiene, brushing and flossing, if they don't make a dime from it? Because it builds awareness that you should take care of your teeth. So why are chiropractors building this awareness that you should do these range of motion stretches on a daily basis, that you should lay on spinal molding rolls, that you should have wobble discs, that you should have TheraBands, whatever it is, something they can do every day, because you're not going to sell them a chiropractic adjustment every day of their life, right? I mean, I have my patients come in every week for wellness care, which is probably at the high end of what most chiropractors recommend for wellness care. But I'm not going to tell my patient they need to come in every day for 7 days a week for wellness care. But I can tell them that they need to do something for their spine every day. Why can't I tell them that? Dentists tell them they need to brush their teeth every day. They tell them they need to do something, to take care of their dental health every day. So why can't we tell them they need to do something to take care of their spinal health every day, which is more important than dental health, way more important, because hopefully as we're educating them that they should take care of their spine, we're also getting a chance to educate them that how healthy your spine is determines how healthy your body is. That how healthy your spine is determines how your body functions, right? So then we get to start sharing a more complicated message of spinal health. As we share this simple message of, look, you just need to do something every day to take care of your spine. So that was my point, that dentistry worked really hard to do that. Well, if we take a clue from dentistry and say, well, what did they really do? Well, number one, they got out in the public. They got into events. They had booths and fairs, and they had people that would dress up in tooth costumes. I'm not saying that you should go get a spine costume or anything, unless you feel like you want to. But I'm just saying they got out in the public, right? That's why we do a lot of lunch and learns, is we get out into businesses and we share this message of spinal hygiene or lifetime spinal care. And yes, I still share the message of corrective chiropractic as well. But my patients are going to get hit with spinal hygiene. Even if you don't even sign up with my corrective care plan or start care in my office, you're gonna learn what spinal hygiene is. And so we get out there in the public. Now, the second thing or the other thing that dentists did about education was they educated their patients in their office. They give them a package of toothbrushes and floss and all these types of things. If you're a patient in a dental office, you know that every time you go there, you're leaving with a toothbrush. So they gave them something to take home to do every day. Now, this hasn't launched, but I want to share this with you guys. I want to show you some really cool stuff that we're getting in, some spinal hygiene kits. This is the bag that the spinal hygiene kit comes in now. And let me show you something that's really cool here. Well, these are our spinal molding rolls. You probably heard of the Tabor roll, right? That's what they call it. I don't call it the Tabor roll, but I call it a spinal molding roll. And we're down selling our last blue ones. The next ones are black, and they have the spinal hygiene logo right there in the end of it. And it's really, they're sweet. But even those blue ones, my patients love them. So the concept behind spinal molding is that there are three core concepts that we start with spinal hygiene. Three core concepts that are undeniable. You can't deny this, that the spine should be in a certain alignment, right? We say the spine should be straight from the front and it should have natural curves from the side. You can't deny that. Look in any anatomy book, ladies and gentlemen, you can't deny the spine should be in a certain alignment. You could say that there are abnormalities like scoliosis, but again, there's a reason why they're called abnormalities, because they're not normal. And then number two is the spine should move through a full range of motion symmetrically. And you can't deny this either. In fact, you can look up thousands and thousands of physical therapy research articles that show that the spine should move through a full range of motion, forward and back, side, and rotation, and it should move through those symmetrically. So that's all we're saying. And then the third concept of spinal hygiene is that the muscles around the spine should be fit, healthy, and balanced. That we know that an injury that causes an imbalance in those muscles can also cause a problem in the spine. It can also cause problems with nerves. And so we want the muscles around the spine to be strong and healthy. That's the basics of spinal hygiene. Number one, spinal alignment. Number two, spinal range of motion. Number three, spinal strength. And that's why we recommend these types of exercises for our patients, which is spinal molding. So at night, when your spine is the loosest, so inside the disc, you have a gel material. And by the way, if you want to learn more about this, go to spinalhygienedoctor.com and opt in there, because we're starting a training next week. But by the end of your day, your spine is most limber. And you know why? Because inside your disc is a gel material that it can go into a hydrogel state or a hydrosol state, a liquid state or a rigid state. This is why when you wake up in the morning, you feel stiffer. Your patients tell you, I'm so stiff in the morning, and they want you to fix that. And you have to tell them, look, everybody's stiffer in the morning, because when you haven't moved for a while and in one spot, the gel material inside the disc actually hardens slightly. It tightens up. It becomes more rigid. And then as you move through the day, now I'm looser. If you do those stretches, you're a lot looser, because the gel material inside that disc becomes hydrogel or hydro or fluid. And so this is why when you're in a long car ride and you get out, you're so stiff, because you were sitting in one spot for a long time. After you play a basketball game at the YMCA, you're loose. You're loosened up. Why? Because you were moving. You got that gel material, the synovial fluid, and all those things moving and warmed up. Okay, so my point with that is saying that by the end of your day, you should be loosest. That's when we want to do our spinal molding exercises, is we want to put these in the curves of our lower back and our neck and lay on them for 10 to 20 minutes and let that gel material that's nice and loose now mold around this spinal molding roll. And so it's not going to change. I tell my patients, look, it's not going to change your life if you do this once. If you take these spinal molding rolls and you do them tonight and you never do them again, it's not going to make one bit of difference. It's like brushing your teeth. If you brush your teeth tonight and then you never brush your teeth again, you think it matters? No, it doesn't matter. You have to do it every day. You have to do it consistently. And after you've done it every day for years, you begin to mold that spine into a better alignment, and you're getting adjusted. And between each adjustment, you're keeping your adjustments better because you're molding. And so that's why these are so important. That's why everybody loves the Tabor roll, right? Or the spinal molding roll. And let me see if I have any comments or questions here. You guys aren't talking very much tonight. Maybe you're just enjoying the lecture I'm giving here on spinal hygiene. So hey, I hijacked Dr. Zaino's Ask Dr. Zaino show and put on a spinal hygiene seminar here. But feel free to ask questions. Look, nobody knows Dr. Zaino's office better than I do, except for maybe his own associates and staff. But I've been in his office dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and I've been to probably 5 Zaino experiences now. So I can answer questions. I can hang with Dr. Zaino questions. All right, so now this is cool. This is technically a yoga block, right? But we do reverse posture exercises in my office. So we use these as blocks to give our patients to take home to do the reverse posture exercise. Now, that's not spinal hygiene. Reverse posture exercise is corrective care. And that's why I don't teach reverse posture exercises anymore. I don't do it because that is corrective care. That's not spinal hygiene. But I do this in my office, and we do sell these blocks if that, or we will eventually. And so let me show you one more thing that's really cool that we have coming. And this, if you can see there, this is a TheraBand that comes individually wrapped for head forward posture. And the reason why we do head forward posture exercises in spinal hygiene is because head forward posture is the most damaging, degenerative posture in our society right now. And so we want to encourage an exercise that helps prevent the most damaging, degenerative posture in all of society. So Justin asks, when do the new kits launch? Great question, Justin. I'm just waiting for the wobble discs. We do have wobble discs that are coming in. They're going to be black with the logos in the center. And then the black spinal molding rolls are on their way from China right now. I just special order all these things. And if any of you know of a U.S. manufacturer that does these types of things, let me know. I'd much rather buy them in the U.S. It's a pain in the butt shipping them here from China and storing them and all that type of thing. But it's worth it because we're getting exactly what we need. For instance, these spinal molding rolls are 7.7 centimeters across. Why? Because over 8 years of testing, this is the best diameter that I found for my patients for an adult. For a kid, this is a little bit big, but we actually cut up a pool noodle for a kid, so they're a little bit smaller. So, but yeah, Justin, they're gonna probably be done or be here by, I would say, 1st of May, and then we'll be able to get the new kits out there, and you can buy the whole kit, and you get everything that comes in the kit, including my at-home spinal care book, or you can buy the each individual product by itself as well, and we ship those, the just the rolls or just the blocks or just the bands or just the books or just the bags, whatever you want. We'll ship those to you as well. And the key here is to get this message of spinal hygiene out. And I made some really cool connections lately. People actually contacting me saying that they really believe this is a movement that we should all get behind. And there's going to be some really, really cool things coming because we're getting some good support with it. And I'm hoping, and it looks like most of chiropractic is starting to embrace it and move with it. And oh my goodness, I just feel like chiropractic could jump. I mean, get to levels that we haven't been to before if we could get this mainstream and we could start teaching people. In fact, I met John Lee Dumas this weekend from Entrepreneur on Fire. If you've ever heard of him, just look up on iTunes. He's like the #1 podcast, Entrepreneur on Fire. And I got up early and I was working out at the hotel I was at this weekend. And I look over and there's John Lee Dumas, right? He's in there working out with me. And he had heard me talking the night before about spinal hygiene. I talk about it everywhere. I get pretty passionate about it. And so he actually, while I was working out, he came over to me and he said, "Hey, can you teach me a couple of those exercises about spinal hygiene?" He said, "I have an extremely regimented morning routine, and I would love to put some exercises into my morning routine that would help me prolong the health of my spine." So me and him went through our range of motion exercises that I recommend everybody do every morning. And he's like, "I'm going to do these every morning from now on." And then I connected him with a great chiropractor there in Puerto Rico as well. So I think people are going to be more open to this. I think it's going to begin to grow and just explode. Okay, so question here, Justin. When do you review the kit with your patients? At the doctor's report? No, I introduce it to them. We do introduce it to them at the doctor's report because I mention it in my doctor's report. But technically, if they at the end of the doctor's report, we go over their X-rays, and then if they start care, then they're taken up to the front. They start care, they get their schedule, and they get adjusted that night, and they're told that on their next visit, they're going to get all of their spinal hygiene kit and their instructions. So technically, I introduced it on day 3. Excuse me. That's when we also do our day 3 sit down, and we try to invite them to the dinner, show them when their next dinners are, ask them, where they work, if there's any way we can do a lunch and learn and supply lunch for them and their employees where they work. All those things are done on day 3, and also the education and the instruction on how to use your spinal hygiene kit, and then they get their kit on day 3, which for me is day 1 the exam, day 2 is the doctor's report where they see their x-rays and they start care, and day 3 is their real first visit. And they get adjusted on the doctor's report, but they don't do rehab. On the real first visit on day 3, they actually do rehab. So it's a little bit longer visit for them, but I find it works really well because they just paid thousands of dollars for a care plan, and then on that 3rd day they get all this stuff, right? So it just reinnervates their feeling of okay, I bought something, I get this, it taken me, it kind of slows down that feeling of buyer's regret that sometimes people have when they spend a lot of money and they don't have anything to take home. And so anyway, that was a long way to answer your question that we do that on day 3 for sure. So let's see, what else we got? Actually, we're getting down to about 30 minutes, man. I appreciate you guys being on here and hanging in with me. I'm going to go through a lot more this next week on spinal hygiene and training and the specifics about it. We kick it off on Saturday with an email, and then we start video trainings on Monday. So if you're not on that list, make sure you go to spinalhygienedoctor.com, and you can actually start watching the first video technically on that right now, the way it's set up. So thanks, Justin, man. You're awesome. I appreciate you asking questions and stuff. And for all of you, everybody else who's on tonight, thank you so much. We really appreciate you being on here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. I'll try to be here. I was at my internet went down one night, and I sped to Starbucks because I knew Starbucks had internet, and I'm putting this together, and we got on. We were a few minutes late, but we made it. So every Wednesday, 8 p.m., I'm going to be here or do everything that I can to be here and give you as much value as possible, answer any questions you have. You're always welcome to email me personally as well, drtabor@live.com, and I always try to help out there. So thanks so much. Hope to see you in Clearwater, Florida. Check that link out below the video and check out the Health Experts Alliance seminar with Dr. Josh Axe, Dr. Isaac Jones, Jordan Rubin. What a cool guy, man. That guy is like I don't know if he's a billionaire. I guess he's not because I think he sold um, Garden of Life. But anyway, that's $1 billion company. And maybe he is. I don't know. Anyway, he's a phenomenal guy and worth it getting to hang out with those guys. It's worth investing a little bit of money to get to those events. I've learned that myself. It's hard to do because it's always hard to do to invest, but it always pays off when you're trying to grow, you're trying to become better, you're making connections and friends at these events. And so I highly recommend the Health Experts Alliance. And I highly recommend spinalhygienedoctor.com as I will for the rest of my career. That's where I'm going to focus on. I always tell people I got about 40 years left, maybe 45. I'm going to practice till I'm 80 or 90 years old, and maybe beyond that. Then we'll be pushing chiropractic and spinal hygiene. All right. Thanks so much, guys, for being on tonight. It's always fun, and I hope everybody has a great night. Talk to you next time.